Hey there. I want to start by saying thank you for tuning in once again to another Enlightened Hearts Ministry podcast. Here's the thing. Most of us know what it feels like to wonder if someone's really got our back. At work, in friendships, even in family sometimes, you can feel the difference between someone who's invested and someone who's just passing through. Like they're there while it's easy, but when things get messy, they disappear. And that's exactly the tension Jesus steps into in today's gospel. He says it plainly. I am the good shepherd. Not a manager, not a hired hand, a shepherd. Someone who stays. I've been wrestling with that contrast lately. The hired hand versus the shepherd. Because if I'm honest, I've played both roles in my own life. Sometimes I show up fully, and sometimes I keep one foot out the door. Jesus doesn't do that. He says the hired hand runs when the wolf comes, but the shepherd lays down his life. Drop the mic. And this connects so deeply with what we've been reflecting on these past few days. This idea of God as the great I am. Not distant, not abstract, but present, consistent, personal. The I am doesn't abandon. The I am stays in the storm. The I am knows your name and still chooses you. Now look at that first reading from Acts. Peter is catching heat, big time. People are questioning him because he went to the Gentiles. And his response is basically, look, God showed me something bigger than my comfort zone. He saw that God wasn't just shepherding one group, but opening the gate for everyone. No exceptions, no fine print. That's hard for us sometimes, because we like lines, we like categories, we like knowing who's in and who's out. But Jesus says, I have other sheep that do not belong to this fold. And suddenly, the circle gets a whole lot bigger. The Catechism touches on this in a powerful way. It reminds us that Christ died for all, and that the church is meant to be the place where all are gathered into one. That's paragraph 605 in a nutshell. No one is outside the reach of the Good Shepherd. And if we go back to the early church fathers, you see this same heartbeat. St. Augustine talked about how the shepherd knows each sheep individually, not as a number, but as a person. That hits different, because it means you're not just part of a crowd. You're known, fully. And that psalm today, as the deer longs for running streams, that's not poetic fluff. That's a gut-level ache, a thirst. We all have that thirst. For security, for belonging, for someone who won't bail when life gets complicated. And Jesus steps right into that ache and says, I see you. I've got you. I'm not going anywhere. But here's the quiet challenge in all of this. If we follow the Good Shepherd, we're also called to stop living like hired hands. In our relationships, in our faith, in the way we show up for people. Because it's easy to care when it's convenient. It's easy to stay when there's no risk. But love, real love, sticks around when things get uncomfortable. That's the kind of love that flows from his wounds. Not polished, not safe, but life-giving. So maybe today, the question isn't just, do I believe in the Good Shepherd? Maybe it's, where am I being invited to trust him more? And where am I being called to love like him? Because the gate is open, the voice is calling, is still leading. The shepherd's gate. Voice across the dark. Open gates for every soul. Life blooms from his wounds. Once again, thanks for being part of the Enlightened Hearts family. I'll talk to you soon.